Hi and welcome to what I hope is my third and final review of the Carrera Crossfire E electric bike. Now, as some of you are probably well aware, I've had this bike for over 2 years now, and when I got mine it literally just had a different display on here. The only one that they had was kilometres. Now Halfords did upgrade me free of charge to the new display, the one that comes with miles, and as you can see, 1870 miles. Not too bad. I didn't get out much last year, so yeah, not bad at all. First year I did just over 1,000, but here we are anyway. This is my bike with quite a lot of modifications and additions to it. As you can see, mine's the 21-inch frame, 700C wheels, so it's actually quite a big, bulky bike, very heavy. But overall, the bike is absolutely brilliant. I've said this and I can't state it often enough. It really is an absolutely fantastic machine. So starting off, I've upgraded the wheels, the tyres to just standard road tyres. They are from Schwalbe Marathon Plus. Apparently they're e-bike ready. No idea whether it makes a difference or not, but they've been absolutely superb. They've been on now for just over 12 months and no puncture, and they have this beautiful reflective sidewall, and it is absolutely brilliant. People have actually stopped me and said that they could see me half a mile away. So yeah, very, very good. So yeah, the tyres are excellent. The standard tyres that come with the bike, they're like a knobbly sidewall down here. That's basically a little bit off-road, mostly road tyres. I figured I only ride on the road, so I may as well just stick with the road tyres. I did, and I've not looked back. I think it's been absolutely brilliant tyres. Not one single puncture, touch wood. As for stopping, well, you've got hydraulic disc brakes front and rear. I've just had the hydraulic fluid replaced in mine. Incredible that it lasted 2 years, but it apparently should have been done in 6 months, not 2 years. So I can't complain that I've had a 2 year service at the same hydraulic fluid. Pads have been replaced twice, on the front and once on the rear. I don't know, I seem to recall somebody saying that they ride mountain bikes a lot and they use the rear tyre for most of their braking, the rear wheel for most of their braking. I don't. I come from a motorcycling where you use your front brake to slow you down, not your rear, but each to their own. That's why I've gone through two sets of pads on the front and only one on the rear. Battery, yeah. This is the part that really does give you some good longevity, and it is very, very good. Now I've had 45 miles out of mine. I've never had the advertised 60, but I have had 45. Battery comes off, so you can charge it away from the bike. It is very heavy, probably weighs about 10 pounds on its own, so yeah, be careful of that. It's very heavy. I don't think 45 miles is actually very bad, even though it's advertised at 60. I think with a good fit rider on a good flat surface or in a velodrome or something like that, you could probably get 60 miles out of a charge. So to say that I've done 45 on a reasonably flat surface up in the Highlands was pretty good. But I found now, after 2 years of owning the bike, that it is beginning to lose capacity. So it's not giving me quite the same distance as it used to, but I've been off the bike since probably about September, and I've always just come back onto it now in the end of June. So maybe it's just me not fitting off again. But we'll see, time will tell. Again, there's the rear stoppies. Nice big disc brakes. Tetra Velo hydraulics all round. They do a fantastic job. I've been down some huge hills doing about 45-50 miles an hour, and they have stopped me, although they have started to show signs of fade before I get to the bottom. But you know, that's me going downhill, down a very steep hill, really, really fast, really, really stupidly. The original seat is still on, but I've replaced it. I've got this gel seat cover now. Just makes it a little bit more comfortable on longer rides. Even though that's showing signs of wear, rear mudguard. But the only thing really that I need, and in this weather at the minute that we're having, it's absolutely fantastic. Don't even need the mudguard, but que sera, whatever. I did have a front mudguard, but unfortunately it broke off. Putting it in the car last year on my way up to Scotland. And I just haven't bothered replacing it. So never mind, but I haven't needed it, so what does it matter? Moving up to the cockpit, as you can see, it is quite comprehensive. I've got a lot of gear on here. I've got phone case, trip computer. I've got a very bright, very bright light, as you can see. Apparently it's about 1200 lumens, or 1000 lumens, thereabouts. GoPro Hero 6, which I've just started using because the charge on the battery is not very good. I've attached it to the USB output there on the trip computer, so I can at least now keep it charged up. The memory card is good for 3 hours, but the battery is only good for an hour. Yeah, so, but never mind, with the cable in now it should be good. Moving on to seat post, which I have changed the seat post to a one that has suspension. Now unfortunately on Thursday I took the bike out and I had a Hero 2 on there just as a rear camera, and unfortunately as I was bouncing up and down on the seat, it came off, did the camera, and I did lose it. So if anybody finds it, yeah, it'd be nice to have it back, but I don't think I'll see that again. Of course I've got rear light, and my, the last edition I had was pedals. Now these, I've got LEDs in them, so when you're riding at night time, they light up. Pretty nifty, to be honest. Anything that can help you be seen and noticed at night time is a bonus. So it's, for a few quid, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Right, so moving on to the computer. Now, I do, oops, got some lights there. I do absolutely love this bike, and there's nothing wrong with the computer. It's just that the old one was in kilometers, which was a bit of a pain. Now it's absolutely brilliant. It can unclip like that. Now some people have said that there is a problem with the pins on the back of these. Now I've not had a problem with any power cutouts with this, so just be warned, if there is a problem with the power cutout, it could be the pins, or it could be this barrel connected down here. Now as you can see, I've got one straight up and down barrel, cable tie there, and the other one over here is at a slight angle, pushing the cables together Now that has stopped me from having cutouts for around 500 miles now. Although I did have one this week. Just gave the barrel a quick knock and it was absolutely fine again. So that does want cutting and tightening because it is slightly loose. So I do need a new cable tie on there. But that should prevent any more cutouts. So yeah, trip computer. For those who have never owned one of these bikes, it's dead simple. You've got absolutely no help whatsoever, no pedal assist. Eco, which is 25%, Tour 50%, Climb 75%, Sport 100%. Now, people get confused with the 100%. It's not 100% assist. All you do is just sit on and ride. What it is 100% of the power that the motor and the battery can give, which is limited to a peak of, if I remember rightly, it's 500 watts, but the nominal average has got to be 250 by law in the European community. They are limited to 16 miles per hour, 15.5 miles per hour to be exact, by law. So they can't go any faster than that. Then what happens is, as you get closer to 16 miles per hour, the power level drops. So even though you've got it in 100%, the power level will drop and you won't get any more assist from it. No big deal. Because once you're up to about 16, 17 miles per hour anyway, you're going at your own steam. There's no problem. So what have you got on there? Well, you've got your distance trip, you've got your battery readout, battery level, a much more precise level. Mine does tend to now fluctuate. As soon as I set off, it might drop 8 or 9% after I've done 150 yards. But then once it's dropped to that 90% level, it will gradually fall down, gradually reduce over time, as it normally should do. So that's one of the reasons that makes me think that I'm not getting quite the same distance out of the battery as I used to, but a new battery is £450 and I'm afraid I just can't afford £450 just yet. Distance total, I've done 1,870 miles, not bad going. The light can be turned off somehow. Yeah, the backlight on it can be quite bright and you can disable it one way or another. I'm not sure how. I've done it before and I can't remember how I've done it. Oops, not that one. That's that button there pushes the bike along, so if you're walking up a steep hill or something like that, you can press that button, it will just give you a bit of a help. Oh, I switched it to kilometres. So I've done 3,000 kilometres. There we go, back to miles. So what else have I added? I've added new grips. Oh, sorry, coming back to the trip computer. Yeah, it's all there. I generally ride in tour mode, which is the default anyway. As soon as you turn it on, it will just default to tour. I generally ride in tour mode, but it is quite steep and hilly around here, and I do smoke, unfortunately. So I do end up climbing some of the bigger hills on sport, but sometimes I'll just stick it on climb, or I'll leave it even on tour and I'll force myself to go as far as I can. And that's pretty much it for the bike. It is absolutely amazing. Once you've gone from a bike, a normal push iron, you can really feel the difference in the assist that it gives you. And it is assist. Even at 100%, you still are getting a damn good workout. So despite what people say, you know, all the cheating or whatever, there are different people for different bikes for different people. Some people like to do the 70 miles a day on the road bikes that weigh 3 pounds, carbon fibre rims and carbon fibre frame and everything else. That's entirely up to them. I'm never going to do 70 miles in a day. I've done 45 miles in a day and I've loved it. but I'm 50 years old, nearly 50 years old. I've smoked for 35 years. There's no way on earth am I going to do 70 miles on a road bike. So I need a little bit of help. Some people are older than me. I saw a guy this week, I saw him twice in the same area, a guy called Stuart. Really sweet guy, he's got the Boardman electric mid-drive, but he's knocking on the door of 70. So if you want a bike that's going to make life a little bit easier when you're going out, that lets you go further, then this is it. There's no point in getting a mountain bike or a road bike and only doing 10 or 15 miles. You know, you do need a bike that's going to be able to put in as many miles as you can. And this is what helps. I do I have two different circuits, one of 20 miles and one of 25 miles. And I couldn't do either of them without this bike. And that's part of the beauty of the bike, is I can go further, I can go for longer, I can completely carry on without taking a single break. And that's what an electric bike gives you. It gives you that freedom to go further, to go for longer. And because you're doing that, rather than doing, say, 10 miles and being absolutely exhausted on a regular mountain bike, can I just go up to the wind farm, back down, that's 10 miles down to Ogden Reservoir. It's about 10-12 miles, and I've done it once, and I was so exhausted. I could barely walk for 2 days. And I had to stop 3 or 4 times on the way up. But with this, I can do that same circuit without stopping once, and carry on and do another 10 miles on top. So anybody who tells you that they're cheating, you're conning yourself, you're not getting the exercise, let me tell you, you are getting the exercise. If you can go for 25 miles and push yourself a little bit harder by lowering the assist level, then you're doing more, you're getting more out of it. And I don't care what anybody says, you're doing more, you're going out more often, you're finding more excuses to go out. And that's the whole point. It should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be a matter of punishing yourself. So for me, an e-bike is absolutely essential for fitness, for everyday use. It becomes more useful. You go shopping, you go to town, you go to the supermarket, you take your rucksack, you throw a few things in, you come back. Instead of taking the car, you're taking the bike. And even though it is helping you, you're still doing an awful lot of work. It's a pedal assist at the end of the day. It's not throttle controlled, it's pedal assist. And for that reason, and that reason only, you are still getting a good workout. So despite what the naysayers say, they are absolutely brilliant machines. Now, one of my local bike shops, soon after I bought this, I asked them to see whether or not they could get me a mirror. They couldn't, a bar-in mirror. But once they saw the bike, they were just laughing at me. You know, electric bike, blah, 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 you know, lazy bastard, all the rest of it. You know what? They were absolute die-hard non-electric traditional bike fans. And even they are now having to sell electric bikes. Yeah, they have no choice, they've got to sell them because it's what the people want. And it's not the lazy option. It just means if you're a mountain biker, you can go for longer, you can stay out for another hour or two because you've got the energy to do so, rather than, you know, thinking, oh god, I'm knackered, I've got to drive back home, or I've got to cycle back home, or whatever, I'm done now, I'm knackered. You don't have to do that with an e-bike. You can go out for another hour and a couple of hours maybe, and make a longer day of it because you're not so tired. So there are lots and lots of pros, and I don't think there are really any cons. Yeah, they're more expensive and they are heavier. And there are some professionally made tracks that aren't keen on electric bikes because apparently they tear the road up or they tear the tracks up quite badly. But to be honest, there aren't that many places around here where you can do that kind of professional riding on a professionally made track. It's all bridleways and carriageways. We live in Yorkshire, so we're not stuck for anywhere to go. So there you go. If you're in the market for an e-bike, or you're just thinking about it, you're wondering whether or not it's beneficial or is it worth the expense, I can safely say it's worth the expense. This is probably the very best item I've ever purchased in my life. I've taken so much enjoyment from riding. It's almost like it must be illegal. You can't have so much fun riding a bike and it not be, but it is. It's legal, so I love it. So anybody else who's thinking about it, go around to Halfords or to a local bike shop and see whether or not they've got a demonstrator. And I guarantee you, within 2 or 3 minutes of throwing your leg over and taking one for a quick spin, you'll be hooked, because they are absolutely brilliant. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, take care. Be seen, be safe.